So they came back again. She was there, and they asked for me. And she told them I wasn't there. And then she called me and told me what was going on. So I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm nervous. Like, like I said, I might dibble and dabble in things, but I wasn't doing nothing that I know that would bring the police to my front doorstep. They're not coming with a warrant. They're not coming to arrest. They just want to talk to me. So I'm like,
bro, keep making the beats, man.
All right, so boom, I got a story to tell. All right, it's your man OG Bo Beats. Let's tap in. Before I get into my story, I just want to say, first and foremost, I don't condone snitching, but I also don't care about snitching. This topic has been hot in media, social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. It's been a topic for a while, but most recently T.I. and Boosie got into a situation based off some T.I. said and Boosie responded. I just want to say, as a grown man, trying to make it, doing good for myself, I could care less about snitching. I'm not in that life, and this stuff is really ridiculous for grown men to be having these conversations and pushing this on the internet and social media. That's my disclaimer. All right, so let's get into it. So I got a story to tell, man, and I want y'all to tell me, is this snitching in your opinion, right? Not even if it's snitching, but what do you think about this situation? Because the point I'm trying to prove, or at least relay, is that it's so many variations and different things that happen growing up in situations like the hood, where things is going on. And a lot of cats is on the internet just, putting these rat emojis and these cheese emojis and saying this and saying that about people and judging everybody. But I know for a fact, if you really from the type of environment where things was going on, then you got to know of a lot of situations where things just didn't add up, didn't make sense. You couldn't say it was snitching or whatever, because we have this tendency to say we don't want to see our worst enemy in jail. But yet if somebody is trying to get themselves out of jail, not even by snitching, just by doing what they got to do to talk to the police to basically clear their name, then that's snitching. That's what the new internet is saying. Anyway, so hear me out. Here we go. So a while ago, we talking about 15-ish years ago, maybe 07, 08, something like that. Right? I was back home, living where I was living, working a job, doing my thing. I grew up in the hood, man. So I was dibbling and dabbling, always doing things, right? Do you consider that being a citizen or not, or in the street or not? I could care less, you know what I'm saying? Because I see people try to use that as the point to make. But I mean, what about the people that's working a job every day and they may do a little something on the side, to hustle that don't involve anybody else? You could make a case that they're not in the street. But anyway, back to the story. So I'm working a job. I'm doing my thing. I think at the time, I'm not even sure, was I living with my mother or I was not, but I was, involved with my mom, at her house or whatever. So I get a call from my mom one day telling me that she came home and a police had left a card in the door telling them to call. And I was like, what's going on? She said she didn't know. I said, well, I definitely don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I was a little worried, but I didn't know what was going on. Time go by. I didn't call. I was like, I don't know, maybe they got the wrong. So they came back again. She was there and they asked for me. And, she told them I wasn't there. And then she called me and told me what was going on. So I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm nervous. Like, like I said, I might dibble and dabble in things, but I wasn't doing nothing that I know that would bring the police to my front doorstep. They're not coming with a warrant. They're not coming to arrest. They just want to talk to me. So I'm like, okay. So then I get a call from my cousin, right, who shall remain nameless. And I just want to say, to this day, me and my cousin cool. We good. Ain't no issues. It shouldn't be on his end anyway, because it wasn't me that made this situation occur. So I get a call from my cousin. He said, hey man, come see me, man. I'm like, Then I kind of started to wonder. I was like, all right, bet. So I go see him, you know what I'm saying? And I knew right out the back, whatever he was about to tell me had something to do with the police coming to my mama's doorstep. So he tells me that basically, right, my cousin was in the streets, in the game, you know what I'm saying, getting money, doing his thing. You know, it is what it is. He was always one to have a car. If you from that type of life, you know that was the thing. You know, it still is now. Get you an old school, fix it up, a Dunk, a Chevy, a Malibu, whatever the case may be, a Monte Carlo. So my cousin had this clean old school, right? I'm talking about completely restored paint job with the graphics on it, interior done, leather. I don't remember what size rims, but I know it was something big, like 26s, 24s, 26s. You know, back then that was huge. Nardy steering wheel. Even had the engine was painted. Like, I mean, this car had to be worth, you know, upwards of $15,000, $20,000 just on that alone. So he tells me that while he was getting some, he went to a customization stereotype shop or whatever, get some work done. He with a chick, and she pays for the work with a fraudulent or fake or stolen or whatever credit card, right? So they pay for the work, they leave with the car, and then I guess it came back as whatever, stolen or not paid or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, okay, well, what that got to do with me? This fool tells me, hey man, I put the car in your name. So he put a car in my name without me knowing. Now this is my cousin, and like I said, I don't know what he was thinking, but this was a horrible move, and this is why sometimes, you know, dealing with family can be detrimental, man. Like, you know, I deal with family, even friends, but it's from a distance with certain situations, and it just is what it is. You know, he put the car in my name without me knowing. So the people at the shop, you know, ran my, and for all I know, to be honest, he might have been putting my name on invoices and all kind of stuff. So that alone was a bogus move right there. So he tells me that this happened. They got it on camera, or I don't know if he tells me that, but I'm gonna talk about that later. So cause he knows. I said, hey man, the police been coming. You know, yeah man, that's probably what they coming for. Cause this, cause that. Hey, you know, just go talk to him. Tell him it ain't you. Tell him you don't know nothing about it. And just, you know, tell him you ain't got nothing to do with it. They can't do nothing if you don't know nothing, and they can't prove that it's actually you. So I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me. So my cousin, who is at the time, you know, he's a convicted felon. He's been in the streets his whole life. He doing this thing. He wants me to go and talk to the police that's been coming to my house. So when you cats sit here and say, man, talking to the police, that's not true, bro. That's not true. And we talking about lawyer? Who? I'm not finna pay for no lawyer. I'm not finna get no lawyer. He wasn't finna get no lawyer. But they was gonna keep coming to my house because the car was in my name and I was the initial point of information for them. So maybe another week go by, man, and I said, you know what, bump it, man. I'ma just go do what I gotta do. Tell them it ain't me. So I make the call, set it up, and I go down there, man. I'm talking about stomach bubbling. I go down there, man. They put me in the interrogation room. It's just me and one dude. I sit down, and when I sit down, I see the paper he's got on the table. Now check this out. 2004, I got myself in some trouble. Again, dealing with friends. We're not going to get into that story, but I'm going to just say that it wasn't me, but I had to take the charge. Sits me down. I look on the table. It's a picture of my mug shot from 2004. So I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. What is going on? So he gets to talking and tells me what's going on and say they got it on camera. So when he said that, I instantly knew that, well, if you got it on camera, bro, you know for a fact that it wasn't me, right? Me and my cousin look alike, but we don't look alike, right? I've never had long hair, none of that, so, you know, it wasn't me. Also, number two, I work a job. So the day that it happened, I was ready to say, look, I can prove that I was at work because I work a job. So there's no way this could have been me. Guess what? I had called in sick for work that day. So it was getting crazy, man. So, and another thing, you see, I got the little slugs in the mouth. My cousin also has, you know, something that's identifiable like that, but it's different than mine. So anyway, I talk to him. I tell him, hey, man, it ain't me. I don't know nothing about that. You know, it's nothing I can tell you. I offer zero information, right? I don't know nothing about it. You know, I said, hey, you know, are y'all talking about arresting somebody or whatever? You know, I got that out the way quick. He was like, no, not at this time. We just looking for the person, you know, who the girl was the one that made the fraudulent charge. I said, hey, man, I don't know. I said, I don't know why that car is in my name either, because now, mind you, me and my cousin got the same last name and all of that. It's just looking bad. So I talk, you know, about another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I tell him I don't know. He trying to pressure me a little bit, like I said, and he had the picture sitting there. I don't know if that was supposed to intimidate me. But you know, I was like, hey man, is it anything else? Am I under arrest? Is it anything, you know? And he let me go. And I never heard from him again. The crazy part about it is, you know, I don't even know police to even get into stuff like that deep. So I don't know what it was about, but you know, I left up out of there, you know, took a deep breath, went straight to my cousin, told him what happened. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we straightened out a little situation, you know, for my troubles. But, yeah, man, crazy story. So, hey, I need to know, you know, you people on the internet that love to point out what snitching is, this, that, and the third, and lawyer up. I'm going to tell you something, man. The average cat in the hood working a job, doing good or whatever, ain't got money or time or even the resources to go get a lawyer for something like that. Like, I didn't have nothing to do with it. Why would I go waste money on a lawyer for something that was so ridiculous in the first place, right? Wasn't no charges or nothing. So when you say that you can't talk to the police or whatever to clear your name, that's ridiculous, right? Like I said on my previous video, snitching to me is me and you do a crime, I get caught, and then I tell on you so I can get reduced time, or like I said, police just make me tell and I fall for it. That's the baseline of snitching. It's variations that go along with that. I know this. All right, but don't sit here and act like, especially y'all that ain't never been in those situations. Even if you in the street, that don't mean you've been in those situations. Don't act like everything is snitching, bro. It's not. Like, we got to stop that, and we got to stop worrying about it, because I'm going to tell you something right now. I guarantee you, more than half of y'all is dealing with people that have talked to the police and cooperated with the police. You know, go look up some situations that happened back in the day. Look up names, look up reports. I've done that, and I found out it's people that straight stone cold snitch, and they still walking around like they never did nothing, and people know. So I mean, at the end of the day, this T.I. Boosie situation is really stupid. It's immature. You know, T.I. is a superstar, movies, reality show, music, philanthropist, business owner. Like, you know, come on, man. Like, who cares? But, you know, he got to keep that image, which I don't understand why. Boosie, on the other hand, you know, he's a guy that's, you know, supposedly standing on what he's standing on, but he got some blurred lines in his situation too. We all know that. So at the end of the day, was Boosie wrong for not calling T.I.? Yes and no. T.I. said it initially, so he said it out his mouth. Why I gotta call you for that? But if you my mans, I'm still gonna call you and check you on that as soon as I see it. I would have been called you way before I went on Vlad TV for him to ask the question, because you knew he was gonna ask. So it's all ridiculous, man. So, you know, as far as the Gunna situation, I mean, it is what it is. You know, it looks bad. I kind of low-key believe that situation may not even really be snitching, but he's just doing that to clear his name, and that's what he had to do. That's why everybody that took that plea deal and got out did that. Boston Richie, you know, the situation that happened when he was 16, I'm just like, man, you can't expect kids, 16, yeah, he kind of skirting the line, but he still was a kid, man. And it was a GTA, it was a petty theft, I don't know, but it was like, man, come on now. Something like that happened. You sometimes, you know, people deserve a pass. I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying sometimes you do. You got to understand what's really going on out here. And you might have made a mistake. That don't mean that you got this stamp on you long life. Now, in the case of Tekashi 6ix9ine, that's a little different to me. You know, it was a lot of money involved. And they was threatening him and this, that, and the third. And he was supposed to be down. And that's very complicated. But that's grown man business right there. You know what I'm saying? You sent a lot of people to prison for a lot of years. That's way different than what Boston Richie did. And we don't know the whole situation with Gunna and what's going to happen with Thug and all of that. It's starting to seem like this is all bogus. You know, so, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. T.I. did the paperwork party. That was ridiculous, you know, because, first of all, your name wasn't even on the paperwork tip. Second of all, you said it yourself. Like I said, man, it is what it is, man. Comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Please make sure you like the video. Like I said, let me know. That's my story, man. I had to go talk to the police for something somebody did to me, unbeknownst. I had nothing to do with, and I stood tall, went and cleared my name, and situation, you know, nothing ever came out of it, right? So I know that's not snitching, but according to some of y'all rules, any talking to the police, like, get out of here, bro. Like, you got to be kidding me. You never been in no real situations. And every situation ain't a murder charge or a RICO charge either, right? We got to also understand that. So, like I said, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Leave your comments down below. It's your man, OG Bo Beats. I just want to know what y'all think about that, man. And I appreciate you for watching, man. I'm out. Peace.